Hello and welcome to the fourth and final video in this series. We are going to find full text from citations. So I'm going to give you about 4 different strategies to look for articles online before you email me or do interlibrary loan. Okay, so we're going to start off at library.western.edu and then we're going to go to collections and database list. I'm just going to click into this. This will let me sort by subject, so I'm going to go down to biology. And just as I said in video 3, the Public Library of Science, Science OneFile, and Science Direct are on almost all of the sciencey type database lists because they're so broad. But I know that PLOS One is going to have open access, so that's not going to give us any that we don't have access to. But Science Direct will have a ton that we actually don't have access to. Okay. So in this search, I'm going to skip straight to the advanced part because that's how we roll. I'm going to do Apis mellifera, the scientific name for a honeybee, and propolis. And then I click into show all fields because I want review articles. Okay, I'm trying to collect a lot of citations basically. So one of the things that Science Direct does really well is show you when we have full text access to something. So it's got this little green dot next to any that, we have full text access to. So I'm going to go down here a little bit and, oh, look at this. Here's one that doesn't have a dot. So if I click into this, oftentimes, when you hit a paywall on a site, you'll be able to see that maybe we should have access to this, or maybe you can find it somewhere else, but don't ever pay for an article. So the first strategy we're going to use is to go back, take this journal article title, go back up here to our home page, and I'm going to use the article search to see if it comes up anywhere else. And after we wait for it to think about it, still waiting. Okay, here we go. Oftentimes, when you click into this link, you'll have on the left side the HTML full text or PDF full text, but if we don't have that, oftentimes we'll have full text finder and or Goldrush / interlibrary loan. Generally, this thing is pretty useless, so I usually don't even bother looking at that, but if we go through full text finder, the chances are pretty good that we do have access to it in some way. So the only thing we need to do is make sure that our year of publication, meets the requirements here. Sometimes these will have, several different access points with differing year, coverage. So both of these look good though, so I'm going to do check for full text at the publisher's website. And the problem is we've got this huge reference list, but the article itself says available on Science Direct. Guess what happens when we click back through here? It says get access. We're stuck in a loop. Oh no. So the next thing that we want to try, now that the article search has failed us, is we're going to go take this journal title, Journal of Applied Biomedicine. We're going to go all the way back to the library homepage and look at journal titles. So in the journal title search, basically it's only looking for either electronic books that we have or journals that we have. So Journal of Applied Biomedicine. And if we click onto this thing here and open up full text access, we actually have 4 different ways to access this. You'll notice that there are differing years of access to these ones. But if you recall from our article search, it only pulled up 2 of these 4. So sometimes, the best way to sort of figure out what kind of access we have for a journal is to go through here and check for all of these. So the other thing I want to point out is that this little thing here, peer-reviewed, yes. So the problem with the EBSCOhost search is when you check that peer-reviewed box, it excludes any article, any journal that has self-described it as peer-reviewed no. The reason why this should make you hesitate is because no journal has only original, groundbreaking, peer-reviewed research, right? A lot of them will have front matter, back matter, things that are like, you know, book reviews or editorials, conference proceedings that they want everyone to know about, all kinds of things that can't actually be peer-reviewed, right? So depending on how they interpreted this question, they might have said, yes, this is a peer-reviewed journal, even if, you know, it's not double-blind at all, even if, you know, there's just a panel, you know, an editorial panel that reviews things, and maybe they're not the most qualified people to be doing that. Or they could have said no, because their standards of peer review are so high that they're like, well, it doesn't include only peer-reviewed articles, so we should say no to this question. So, you know, there's a lot of gray area when it comes to peer review. So, you know, just checking that box doesn't always mean that it's going to be good peer-reviewed articles left, or or, you know, journals that were actually included really good research that are excluded from that because at one point in time, you know, we said no, right? So let's go ahead and take a look through here, Directory of Open Access Journals, and you know, we're back on this. This should look pretty familiar to us. So if we're looking for Propolis, it's going to bring us back to this whole thing. So that's annoying, but that's, you know, technique number 2 is to use the journal finder. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So technique 3 and 4, I would say, would be to use Google Scholar and or a general Google search. I'll close some of these tabs. So Google Scholar has a lot of really nice features to it. One of which is it will usually be able to pull access details here. So sometimes it'll have a PDF attached right there, and you can just click into that and you're done. But also this cited by function can be super helpful to see what came after this research, right? So every single paper has a works cited or reference list of things that, you know, came before them, the ideas that they used and adopted, methodology that they liked, and so on. But it's kind of harder to find things that happened after in the same line of work. So obviously, this isn't a perfect tool. You know, it's cited by 3 articles that Google knows about. But when you do click into this, you can, you know, pick these out and read how they felt about the previous article, right? So maybe they're really ripping into this article for its methodology. Maybe they're really praising it for, you know, what they've done. So if you're not really sure how to evaluate scientific literature yet, you know, this is one easy way to see what other people said about it. So, all right, if we click into this, it's going to bring us back to Science Direct. If we click into the HTML, it's going to bring us back to Journal of Applied Biomedicine. And so the last thing I'm going to try is just a general Google search, and here on ResearchGate, the authors themselves have kindly put it online. So when you do this, download full text PDF, voila, there it is in all its glory. So sometimes you're going to have to bounce through a lot of these different portals, basically, because oftentimes if you just do a general Google search or a Google Scholar search, you'll hit a paywall, and you know, you shouldn't ever be paying for research articles, especially in grad school. So, you know, you might start off on Google Scholar, find something that you like, and then take it back over to the library homepage to look for, you know, look through different, maybe the journal finder or the article search. But if you can't find access through any of those things, absolutely just email it to me. Just, you know, title, authors, where it was published, when it was published, all that good information, and I will get it for you. So I still have University of Illinois access, for example, and, you know, a little cohort of library friends where we swap around different research that we need. So yeah, that is the end of this video series. So I hope you all enjoyed and found this educational, and please don't hesitate to email me if you're looking for anything. Okay? All right, bye-bye.